Welcome to Revelland. My name is Esther and I'll be your host today. In this video series, we show you how to be creative, imaginative, inspiring, and transform how you think about your music and gigs forever. Let's transform your live show into an immersive experience that is open to everyone. To make sure this video series is accessible to people with various disabilities, we'll use visual descriptions.
My name is Esther. I am recording today in a big old warehouse-style building. There is a brick wall behind me. There's stunning flowers everywhere. I've got a navy dress on with white and red stitching, some gold pirate-style hoops, and I've got short, dark blonde hair tied behind me. And I'm talking today to Ronald Ligtenberg, the CEO of Possibilize. So Ronald, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So Ronald, can you begin by describing yourself and telling us then about Revelland and the work you do?
Yes. So my name is Ronald Ligtenberg. I am a male, nearly 50. I have silver gray hair, bit of black and brown in it still. I'm wearing a light blue shirt and I'm in a university classroom with boring lights behind me. So Revelland is a European network of organizations who are all involved with creative accessibility. And creative accessibility is something that we define as accessibility in such a way that multiple groups will benefit from it. So the solution that is made up for an accessibility issue is done in such a way that more people enjoy it, not just the people that it was meant for. So creative accessibility came up when we noticed that a lot of solutions for inclusion actually lead to exclusion. Think of a wheelchair stage, which is in itself a great solution for people so they can see very well what's happening on a stage. But imagine you having broken your leg and you get to go in a wheelchair to a festival. You get to sit on this wheelchair stage, but your group of friends go somewhere else. So you separate the people with a wheelchair from the other festival audience. And we think that leisure activities and music events in particular are a very nice way to actually bring people together, not again seclude them, because that is the issue that they're all dealing with already in so many aspects of their life. So we like to create solutions that work for both organizations. Another angle in this is that festival organizers and many people in the cultural sector consider accessibility as a burden. It costs money, takes time, requires effort, and nobody really knows how to do it. So, and as long as something is seen as a burden, not much will happen. So when there is actually a benefit in it, people might be more likely to actually adapt something in their organization so that it becomes more accessible for bigger groups of people, and also at the same time more entertaining, which reaches another point. Now that musicians are more and more depending on the money coming from income streams like live music, whereas they used to be dependent on the money that they would get from selling their albums, live music is becoming more and more important, and therefore it might be interesting for them as well to improve their live performances and make them more immersive so that they are more able to distinguish themselves from other musicians.
It is obviously the idea of gigs being immersive and inclusive is really good, but I can understand how if you're starting out, it can seem overwhelming. There's so many different elements you have to consider, whereas in a traditional setting, it was just lights, stage, music. So how can Revelland help artists fulfill their ambitions?
Yeah, that is the work where what we could call a sense composer comes in. So each musician, whether it's very intimate music or where it's explosive metal, each musician has a storyline, has a emotional arc to develop. And what we like to do is to look at that storyline or that emotional arc and see what effects would improve or intensify that specific message that the musician wants to transcend, that he wants to, what emotion does this musician want the audience to have. And that emotion is being amplified by the work that we do. And therefore, it's being done in such a way that multiple groups will benefit. Like when we started doing this, is when we started organizing music events for deaf people. And this was something that I started about 20 years ago. And we started thinking, how would deaf people like to enjoy music of which they cannot hear the melody, but they can get the emotion. We consider music as an emotion, a translation of an emotion a composer once had. Now, deaf people cannot get the melody line, but they can get the emotion through the other senses.
On the Revelland website then, what resources are available to artists and musicians? What can they access there? What's the community there?
Well, we have, first of all, these series of tutorials, which is a way that we want to expand and make available the knowledge that we gained in the project that we have just are about to finish. And we have a series of podcasts that people can listen to where they can hear what processes all these participants have gone through. You can hear from the participating musicians, you can hear from the experts. So in these tutorials, we'll go briefly through it, but on the website is a more deepening material available.
So that's great. So you'll hear bands' real life experience of making their gigs more immersive. So maybe the other bands can get inspiration from that.
I would love that to happen. So ideally, we would have been able to show what we have accomplished. So the past 2 years, we have been working on this immersive and inclusive performances. And ideally, of course, we would have shown that to the entire world, and we would have then documented those performances and then shown. However, doing a project around live music in COVID times was not the best combination. So we hope that these tutorials will at least sparkle a bit of an interest and will inspire people to get into this idea of making music immersive and inclusive at the same time. And of course, if they want more information, they can always contact us.
And finally, Ronald, what is next for Revelland? What's the next level?
At the moment, we're preparing a new project, starting with a new application. We hope to be able to create a new project where bands can again participate. And out of that, we will create a tour package which will go along festivals. So we've received interest from festivals like Seagate, from Eurosonic. So a very wide range of festivals, whether it's professional network festivals or mainstream festivals like the Seagate Festival in Hungary. And hopefully we'll be able to organize a tour package along all these festivals.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us today, Ronald. And as always, with all the tutorials, for more information, you can go to discoverrevelland.today to sign up to the newsletter and to join the community there.